In 2014, Jackie Robinson West became the first entirely black team to go to the Little League World Series and win the United States Championship. Unlike the stereotypical white picket fence suburban Little League team, this one was based in some of the most violent neighborhoods in Chicago. Not only did they become the most watched team in Little League history,
Championship of Little League Baseball. But today, their title was taken away.
they were also the most loved and probably the most famous. Their fame brought them parades, hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations, a trip to Disney World, a trip to the World Series, and even a visit to the White House.
He walked out right here and walked right over and shook my hand. I was so excited.
But less than a year after their championship, Little League announced that due to cheating violations, Jackie Robinson West would be entirely stripped of their title. But what did Jackie Robinson West actually do to cheat? How did Little League find out? Why didn't they act sooner? Who was the man behind the allegations? What were his motives? And why do many people still believe the punishments were racially motivated?
But I believe that. And I believe that racism is in the midst of this thing.
13 kids won our hearts that summer as they battled their way to the national championship of Little League Baseball. But today their title was taken away.
We know that we're champions, our parents know we're champions, and the team's parents know we're champions in Chicago.
Suspended from Little League activity. This is cheating. It is. It's plain cheating. Investigate every team in the league if you're going to investigate these young children. I'll believe that. And I believe race is in the midst of this thing. Every year in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, 16 of the world's best Little League teams meet for the most watched youth sporting event in the world. Statistically speaking, getting to the Little League World Series is one of the hardest achievements in sports. If you're from Illinois and want to win the Little League World Series, first you have to win your district tournament, then a sectional, then a state championship, then a regional. And then you get to Williamsport, and then you still have to win the tournament. For most, this is nearly impossible. But for the 2014 Jackie Robinson West Little League team, it was easy. Their run to Williamsport was pure domination, but that run also held the seeds of their downfall. Because among the many teams they beat on their way to the World Series,
what we have said to the team, what we said to the family, what we said to the children, is that we're going to take our time. We're going to find out what rules are at play, what rules were at play.
one had a coach who would eventually spark the biggest scandal in Little League history. And at the time, no one had any idea. Their path began at the Illinois District 4 tournament, a district made up of 6 leagues, all located within Chicago. Jackie Robinson West was located in the heart of the city, an area known as one of the most dangerous in America. According to the U.S. Department of State, their league boundaries included 3 of the 10 most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago. The 2014 District 4 tournament began that summer. Jackie Robinson West won, as they usually did. In fact, over the district's 40-year history, JRW had won it 34 times. What no one knew then was that this would be the final Illinois District 4 tournament ever played.
Out there, and the expectation is we're all following and playing by the same rules. And if somebody's not, and you have first-hand knowledge of it, you should let.
Even without controversy, the tournament was already becoming pointless. JRW dominated every level. In the sectional tournament, they outscored opponents 70-6 in just 3 games, averaging 23 runs a game. They then breezed through the state tournament, outscoring their opponents 53-3. At the regional tournament, where champions from across the Midwest competed on national television, JRW went 6-0. They won the final game 12-7 over Indiana, with a run differential of 63-19. From sectionals on, they went 12-0. 8 of those games ended early due to the mercy rule. In one game, they won 43-2 in just 4 innings. That coach later said the game was so lopsided it was almost comical. That coach would later say a lot more, because that same coach helped spark the single biggest scandal in Little League history. A scandal that would lead to JRW being disbanded entirely. But back then, JRW had bigger things to focus on. They were heading to the most watched Little League World Series of all time. One reason for that was Mo Ernie Davis, the first girl to pitch a shutout at the World Series. With a 71 mile-per-hour fastball and a spot on the cover of Sports Illustrated, she became a national phenomenon overnight. Her spotlight helped shine even more light on Jackie Robinson West.
Just ground ball maybe right back to the pitcher or shortstop. Maybe just hit it to the first base. 3 ground balls to the first baseman. Let's get out of here.
The city of Chicago instantly adopted him. National celebrities like Spike Lee, Chance the Rapper, and Lil Wayne shouted him out. Carl Crawford paid for the team's travel. Dick's Sporting Goods sold over 17,000 JRW shirts. One family received enough donations to buy a new home. In total, JRW received over $300,000 in donations. They beat Monet Davis's team in the U.S. semifinal and became the #1 story of the tournament.
And, be inspired. I feel old. I feel like I kind of grew up here. I come back almost every year, and I'm just here to have a good time. The coolest thing, I probably say when little girls come up, and even older girls come up and tell me how.
And when they beat Las Vegas in a rematch to win the U.S. championship in front of 27,000 fans, they officially became America's team. They lost the final to South Korea, but they were still national heroes. They returned home to a celebration that never seemed to end. A parade, honors at Cubs and White Sox games.
This is worth fighting for. If somebody does something wrong, somebody want to be a bully, you stand up to the bully.
A trip to Disney World, appearances at the World Series, and even a visit to meet President Obama at the White House. But beneath all this praise, a storm was brewing. In December, 4 months after the World Series, journalist Mark Concord broke a story. A coach named Chris James of Evergreen Park Little League was accusing JRW of cheating. He claimed they violated boundary rules by recruiting players from nearby suburbs.
Sanfilippo was charged now with 20 counts of aggravated assault and even 1 count of stalking as well.
He was the coach of the team that lost 43-2. James alleged that JRW's roster included ineligible players, effectively making them a travel team posing as a Little League team.
Pictures of myself and my son.
They discovered that JRW had submitted new district boundaries, but without proper approval. A longtime JRW coach and insider, Kelly had submitted the new boundaries without required consent. On February 11th, Little League stripped JRW of their title. Kelly was banned. The JRW coach was suspended, and the league was removed from competition until its president stepped down. To many, this was a tragedy where the adults failed and the kids paid the price. But in Chicago, the view was different. Many felt the punishment was unfair, overly harsh, and racially motivated. JRW parents filed lawsuits against Little League, Stephen A. Smith and Chris James. They alleged the league knew about the boundary issues, used the team for publicity, and only acted when it was politically convenient. James was later arrested for assault, claimed he received death threats, and also sued Little League for making him a target. In 2014, Jackie Robinson West were the United States champions. The next year, they weren't. The kids played well enough to reach the White House. They did nothing wrong. But because of the decisions made by adults around them, they likely be labeled cheaters for the rest of their lives. And that's the true tragedy of Jackie Robinson West.